Ryanair charges you for your bag, your boarding pass, your seat next to your own kid. Its CEO has floated pay-per-use toilets and called his own customers idiots out loud on the record. And at the end of 2023, this airline became the single most valuable airline on planet Earth. Bigger than Delta, bigger than British Airways, bigger than every full-service carrier that hands you a free meal and a blanket and says, "Thank you for flying with us." That shouldn't be possible. A company famous for treating you badly, beating the companies famous for treating you well. Here's the part that'll actually change how you see this. It's not badly but somehow still. It's badly because. The mistreatment isn't a side effect of the business model. It is the business model. And once you see how, you'll never look at a $9 airline fare the same way again. Rewind to 1991. Ryanair is a small Irish airline, 7 years old, and it is bleeding money. Since it launched, the company has racked up close to 24 million euros in losses. Call it 25 million euros. In 1990 alone, it lost 20 million euros on its own, or around 23 million euros, a brutal number for an airline this size. The founder, Tony Ryan, is running out of road. A young finance guy named Michael O'Leary gets pulled up to deputy CEO, mostly because there's no one left to do the job. O'Leary would later admit that in the spring of 1991, he genuinely believed it would take a miracle for Ryanair to still exist in 3 months. This is the part every Kill episode on this channel ends with. Founder in over his head, bored out of ideas, the money running out faster than anyone can fix it. Ryanair was standing exactly where WeWork and Kodak ended up. The difference is what happened next.
Tony Ryan sent O'Leary to Dallas, Texas to go study Southwest Airlines. At the time, the only airline in the world proving that cheap and profitable weren't opposites. O'Leary came back and did something most struggling companies never do. He didn't try to save the existing business. He tried to replace it. Out went the free food, the assigned seating, the pretense that Ryanair was a smaller version of a real airline. In came a single aircraft type to cut maintenance costs, fast turnarounds to squeeze more flights out of every plane, and fares so low they didn't look like real prices.
By 1999, less than a decade after O'Leary thought the company had 3 months left, Ryanair was one of the most profitable airlines in the world. That's the version of this story most people already know. Struggling company, copies Southwest, gets cheap, survives. It's a fine story. It's also not the interesting part. The interesting part is what Ryanair figured out after it got cheap. The thing that turned cheap airline into most valuable airline on Earth.
Here's the number that matters more than any fare you've ever seen advertised. In fiscal year 2025, ancillary revenue, everything that isn't the ticket itself, made up roughly a third of Ryanair's total income. Some sources put it closer to 40%. Bags, seat selection, priority boarding, onboard sales, car rental commissions, insurance. Think about what that actually means. Ryanair doesn't try to make much money on the flight. It tries to break even on the flight, or close to it, and then sell you everything that surrounds it. The seat isn't the product. The seat is the hook. Your willingness to pay for a bag, a seat next to your kid, or the convenience of printing your own boarding pass, that's the actual business.
This isn't an airline that happens to also sell add-ons. It's a company that sells add-ons and happens to also fly planes. And it's not improvised. Ryanair reportedly adjusts baggage pricing using up to 20 different variables in real time. How full the flight is, how far out you're booking, what route it is. Every fee is a lever, tuned constantly, the same way an airline tunes the price of the seat itself. The parts of the experience that feel like random cruelty are underneath some of the most carefully engineered pricing in the entire industry. Once fares alone stopped being enough to matter, most airlines would have quietly raised the base price. Ryanair did the opposite. It kept the fare as close to free as it could get away with, because the fare was never where the money came from.
This is where Ryanair stops looking like a smart pricing strategy and starts looking like a company with a death wish for its own reputation. And where the strategy gets genuinely brilliant. Michael O'Leary has spent 3 decades saying things that should have destroyed the brand. He's floated standing room tickets, pay-per-use toilets. He once said flatly that the customer isn't always right. He's called passengers who don't print their own boarding passes idiots on camera for the crime of paying his own fee.
Every single one of these should be a PR disaster. None of them are. O'Leary has said outright that bad publicity sells more seats than good publicity ever has. Sit with that for a second. Every outraged headline, every "can you believe what this airline did now" post, every angry customer clip is free advertising for a single promise. This airline will always be cheaper than you think an airline can be. The outrage isn't a cost the brand absorbs. It's the marketing budget delivered by furious customers and journalists for free. Compare that to WeWork 2 episodes ago, where the story the company told the public was completely disconnected from what was actually happening inside it. And the moment reality leaked out in one document, the whole thing collapsed in days. Ryanair runs the opposite playbook. The public story and the real business are the exact same thing. We are cheap, we are annoying about it, and we are not going to pretend otherwise. There's no gap for reality to expose because the ugly part isn't hidden. It's the pitch.
Here's the thing almost every founder gets backwards. When customers complain loudly about something, the instinct is to assume it's a mistake. Fix it, soften it, apologize for it. Sometimes that's correct. But sometimes, the thing customers are angriest about is the exact thing keeping the price low enough for them to be your customer at all. Ryanair didn't survive 1991 by becoming a better version of a full-service airline. It survived by deciding permanently that it would rather be hated for being cheap than loved for being expensive. Every fee, every stunt, every outrageous quote since then has just been that same decision, replayed in 100 different forms. The lesson isn't annoy your customers. It's this. Before you apologize for the part of your business people complain about the most, check whether that's the part that's actually funding everything they say they love. Ryanair checked. It wasn't a mistake. It was the whole model.
Ryanair figured out how to turn a near bankruptcy into the most valuable airline on the planet. Next time, a company that looked unstoppable got bought out by the people who were supposed to save it and buried under a mountain of debt it never asked for and never woke up. Subscribe if you want to see the pattern before it repeats.